here boxing southpaws, and tonight, of course, he is boxing a southpaw, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. He also, of course, is ranked #1 with the WBA and the WBC, and he's destined for a world championship, I would say, within the next 3 or 4 months, and he will be. He's great.
All right, outstanding card for you, including our co-feature, light heavyweight prospect David Sears. For more on the David Sears story, let's check in with the other member of our broadcast team, Dick Landis. Dick?
Thank you, Steve and Arthur. Yes, David Sears, the undefeated light heavyweight, is coming your way against downtown Freddie Brown. But it is Sears who is attracting all the attention these days. Why? Because he capitalizes on what happens in the ring. Example, 2 fights ago, he was cut over the eye in the first round by Clarence Osby, only to come back and knock Osby out in that first round. We talked about that recently.
It's a dramatic fight. It started off in about 10 seconds. I was cut. Took 8 stitches to cut. And blood was in my face. I was worried they were going to stop the fight. And the guy got a little confident. He was coming at me. And bang, beautiful right hand right on the butt. He goes down. I thought they were going to stop the fight. There was all man's confusion. Lou was yelling for the guy to keep the count. The referee didn't know where to go. And they let the fight continue. The guy was out already. And then I just worked him over again until he finally stopped it.
Hey, that might be an indication of your mature response now to what happens in the ring. A lot of people would have panicked with a cut early in the fight, thinking, hey, I got to do something quickly. So you panic.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm 11-0 now. You know, I'm learning still, but it's time to start maturing. You know, I'll be fighting better opponents. I got to do or die now, you know. Now I got to make it. This is it. I think I come a long way, though.
You have come a long way, but probably you need to be tested further by some more difficult opponents. Do you agree or disagree?
Definitely. You know, there's no doubt about it, and I think I'm ready. Whatever Lou Duva says, I'm ready.
You think about being undefeated and the fact that it does start to create pressure?
Definitely, you know, because I imagine if and when that first loss comes, it's something I'll have to deal with.
But David, you can't think about that.
Nah, you're right. I don't think about it. You know, I just think I got to do it. You know, when the bell rings, I just go out and do what I got to do. I don't let the crowd, the cameras, or anybody affect me.
So you find that the more time you put in the ring, the more people you fight, that things like self-confidence, dedication, determination, that sort of thing, they become maybe bigger things.
You know, training's everything. You know, what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. It's this sport, you know, you can't pass the ball to nobody else. You know, when you get tired, it's all over. So dedication's everything.
So a nice profile of David Sears, who is known these days as the fighter who's managed by Rocky's brother-in-law, the man who played Paulie in the Rocky series, Burt Young. There's a tail of the tape. David Sears and Freddie Brown, each at 6'1". Sears has the weight advantage, and Brown has the reach advantage. The records in the ring: Sears undefeated, 12-0, 9 knockouts. Freddie Brown, 22, 25, and 1. Well, earlier we had an opportunity to get the feelings of this man, Freddie Brown, on the subject of tonight's fight.
Hi, my name is Fred Brown. I'm fighting David Casillas tonight, and I'm from North Virginia, and I'm planning on trying to win the best way I can. Casillas, they tell me he's a stand-up fighter, come and get her. Well, Casillas, come and get me. Here I go.
The words of Freddie Brown. Now the words of ring announcer Ed Darien.
From the famous Copa Room of the sensational Sands Hotel and Casino, here in the boxing capital of the world of Atlantic City, New Jersey, Main Events and Peltz Boxing Promotions, in association with the Sands, proudly present Super Fights of the Month, which is approved and sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Commission. The former heavyweight champion of the world, the Honorable Jersey Joe Walcott Commissioner. Robert W. Lee and Nick D. Balistreri, Deputy Commissioners. The physicians in attendance at ringside this evening, Chief Physician Dr. Frank B. Doggett, Dr. Ronald Wood, and Dr. Paul T. Williams. The judges, Frank Brunette, William Kostrab, and Ray Hoagland. The timekeeper to bell is Roy Johnson. Counting for the knockdown seconds, alternate referee Zach Clayton. In the ring at this time, the man in charge of the scheduled 10-round light heavyweight bout, referee Frank Cappuccino. And now, boxing fans, introducing the principals. First, in the red corner, wearing the white trunks with the black trim, he weighed in at 168 1/2 pounds. This gentleman hails all the way from Norfolk, Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome downtown Freddie Brown. And his opponent in the blue corner, wearing the all black trunks with the gold lettering. He weighed in at 175 1/4 pounds. This young man hails from Howard Beach, New York. Boxing fans, here is David Sears.
I, both of you gentlemen, understand the rules and regulations. I'm here to enforce them. I want a good, clean, hard fight. Both of you understand that? Any low blows, any thumbing, heeling, butting, holding it will cost you the round. When I say break or get out, protect yourselves at all times, step back clean. In the event of a knockdown, the man standing, go to the furthest neutral corner, stay there until I call you back. All right, both of you touch gloves now. God bless you both.
So the final instructions from the referee, Frank Cappuccino. David Sears wearing the black trunks, 12-0, 9 knockouts, right of your screen. Freddie Brown on the left in the white trunks with the black trim. 22, 25-1 with 6 knockouts. Sears told us at the weigh-in this morning that he feels a lot stronger, a lot more relaxed these days, and tries to give off the feeling of sophistication in the ring.
David Sears looks in tremendous shape, and he should be, because his actor-manager, Burt Young, told us the regimen that he puts him through in Beverly Hills, California. He's got a nice tan. He's been taking advantage of the Pacific. You can see that.
Well, he's been training Arthur at Burt Young's house in Beverly Hills, California. Young said, shouldn't everybody? You better check his corner and see if he's got Gucci gloves backing him up.
That's very good.
But he is a good fighter. David Sears, 1979 New York Golden Gloves champion. Very impressive amateur career to go along with his professional career. There's a pretty good illustration right there of his combination.
David looks very, very confident tonight. I'm repeating that. And he's going right to him right away.
He wants to end this thing in the first round.
What a
Freddie Brown.
Terrific right to the midsection where it hurts.
Well, Brown with an unimpressive record, but keep in mind this is the Upset Network. We've seen Alex Ramos, Matthew Saad Mohammed, and Diego Rosario stunned on Super Fights of the Month.
And talking about being stunned, Freddie Brown was just stunned with a left jab, and that's not a very good sign when a man can get stunned with a left jab.
David Sears doing all the pursuing. You talked about his manager-actor Burt Young, who was up for Best Supporting Actor in 1976 for his role in the original Rocky, and you pointed out also that he implements some old-fashioned training techniques. Maybe we'll get into that later. Uh-oh, Brown reeling into the ropes, and the corner held him up.
And that was again with a jab. He knocked him right off balance. The problem with Brown is his head is too high. He's carrying his head too high, and he's very, very vulnerable for any kind of a punch, Steve.
How do you like that sequence? Brown nods his head to Sears, says, I'm all right, then gets clocked in the chin.
Well, a lot of fighters do that today, and it's wrong.
Light heavyweight action. Both fighters 6'1". Both tall and rangy. 30 seconds and counting in round 1.
Come on, buddy, step back clean. Come on.
Scoring in New Jersey by the round system, supplemental 5-point must system in the event of a draw. Fighter can be saved by the bell only in the final round.
Now you're going to see Brown get tagged because his head is all the way back and he's vulnerable. He might also get hit right in the Adam's apple, and that really hurts.
That'll do it for the first round. Earlier, we had an opportunity to get the feelings of Brown's trainer Leroy Boone and Sears man Burt Young on tonight's fight. Let's listen.
Fred is more of a boxing type. Good jab. Have a good chance to win in this fight. It's a very important fight for Fred. And I think experience will be the main factor in this fight. And I look for Fred to come out to win this fight.
But what's in the future for Dave Sears?
Hollywood, maybe. Michael Spinks, for sure.
Then I'll be ready.
Pretty cocky kid, huh?
The new comedy routine of Sears and Young.
That was a good act.
5 seconds, let's go. Great corner.
Breaking it in here at the Sands.
Of course, we might mention that Burt Young himself was a fighter. He had 14 fights, and he said he won them all, and I believe him because he's a typical Tony Galento type. Very, very tough, but a very, very good actor, very sensitive actor, and a fine gentleman.
All right, Arthur, round 2 scheduled for 10. Sears in the black and Brown in the white.
Brown is winging. He's got his arms down low. His head is back. It could be this round, believe me, if he keeps that up.
Sears has recorded 4 consecutive knockout victories over Bob Jennings. That was his last fight. Clarence Osby, Robert McConnell, and Pop Nance. Lower right-hand corner of your screen is co-manager with Andy Giovinco, Burt Young, who is a good fighter in the amateurs as a Marine. You pointed out his pro record of 14-0. Not bad in the amateurs as well. He implements those old-fashioned techniques for Sears training. He's got Sears running with bricks in his hands to strengthen his fingers.
Let's go, Freddie.
And he has Sears pounding a sledgehammer.
Yeah, he has a sledgehammer hitting a tree trunk. Very good training.
And it looks like it's paying off right here. He's going to work against Freddie Brown.
I'll tell you, Sears looks very, very forceful tonight. And he could hurt Brown because Brown is only in there kind of to defend himself. He's not on the aggressive at all.
He's a lot slicker in the ring than from the last time we saw him. He's got more side-to-side lateral movement. David Sears, 23 out of Howard Beach, Queens.
Only one thing I detect with David Sears. His mouth is open. He's breathing through his mouth, and there's a reason for that. Because we interviewed him today, and we discovered he has a very severe deviated septum, and he's gasping for breath. And that's very bad. If you get hit with a left hook, you can have your jaw broken.
Good right by Sears. Brown told us, meanwhile, that he heard that Sears, when he gets cut, he gets wild. So he's got to stay away from those wild punches. We'll see if that develops. No cut so far.
Put some hands up. Come on, Fred. Let him out. Fred seems to be holding, and of course, when a man holds, he's either of two things, very tired or very frightened.
Up to the side.
Brown is guilty of infractions, hitting on the back of the head. He's rabbit punching.
Holding and hitting as well.
That's right, Steve. I said you'd make a good referee.
Here goes Sears, airing it out. A flurry by David Sears.
At this pace, it can't go too long.
Time running out in round 2.
All right, hold it. Come on, let him out.
Seems to me that David Sears ought to pace himself. David Sears should pace himself now and just cut it down a bit.
Let's follow David Sears into his corner. Lou Duba. The trainer, Ace Morata, is the cutman. Willie Felice is also in the corner, former fighter.
Okay?
He's my former trainer. When I was in the Golden Gloves, he put me in the Golden Gloves. Willie Felice, that's way back.
Too much in front of him right now. When you jab him, he's going back, right? You can move right on the side through the hook and then come right back with the right hand. Okay? And you're going to reverse it. Go to the right hand, then come back with the hook. You can hit this guy with hooks and leave this side. Give me a little movement. You're standing too much in front of him. That's why you're getting close. You understand? You got this, and as you're getting close, understand? You can't punch with the guy. You got this here?
Third round.
Just relax on this.
Okay.
You can see you could have heard the instruction. Lou Duva is absolutely right. You got to go in a little closer. He's too far away. He's wild, absolutely wild. He wants to end it too quickly.
Stay in your corner, Dave.
And round 3 scheduled for 10.
I think David Sears is anxious to get on that plane and go back to Beverly Hills. He must have someone waiting there.
I don't blame him.
What a right hand. David Sears threw right to the chin. And when Brown walked back, Steve, in that last round, he was disoriented, and he looks like he was hurt. Bleeding from the mouth also.
Connected. Flush on the face. And he continues to open it up. Brown has no defense against David Sears.
Come on. Stop punching, both of them.
I think David, to repeat, should just seem to lessen his attack, be more deliberate. He has the punch power to end this fight.
Work it out.
Sears has the more savvy in the ring. You notice that reckless punch by Freddie Brown that was answered by Sears with a swift combination.
Brown is taking an awful lot of punishment. He comes back occasionally, but he's taking an awful lot of punishment. And that was a left hook that was right on the chin. It was a beautiful left hook.
He's just trying to protect himself against Sears here.
Off his neck, Dave.
And you're right, blood trickling from the mouth of Brown. Ooh, a sweeping left hook by Sears.
Beautiful left hooks. You caught that one. That's right. Just right on the button, right on the chin.
But Brown able to take some punishment here, being dished out by Sears. Look at that succession of left uppercuts by Sears.
That's a sign of a good fighter when they throw 3, 4, 5 combinations. He's being warned now by Cappuccino for holding and hitting. He doesn't have to do that. Let go, Freddie. You're holding. If I were Sears' corner, I'd tell him to back off a little, get a little rest, square away, just bunch up on his power and let it go.
All right, under a minute in round 3, scheduled for 10. Sears just continues to measure Brown out, and he is landing.
He's diluting his power by being in that close. Sears would be far better off if he would throw long rights from the outside, just far enough away to contact.
Brown fought just 15 days ago. Hard to believe. He won a 6-round decision over a boxer named Toby Smith in Virginia Beach.
That was a push. Should be warned for pushing.
But Sears,
it looks like it's going to end very soon, Steve.
Well, he's throwing smoke at Freddie Brown. Ooh, a left by Brown that tagged Sears in the head, but Sears comes right back at the bell. Now let's follow Mr. Brown into his corner.
Freddie Brown came back to his corner. His knees are very, very wobbly. The doctor is coming in now, and rightfully so. I think he should be looked at because he's getting an awful lot of head punishment. The doctor is asking him which round it is.
Jersey Ruth Walker. What's the president of the United States name? What's her mother's name? Elsie Brown. What was her maiden name?
Doctor is
how you feel?
asking who the president of the United States is.
Did he give an answer?
Yeah, and he asked him what his mother's name was and his grandmother's name. Well, he's trying to see if he's acute.
If he says Coolidge, he's in trouble. All right, round 4 scheduled for 10. Apparently, Freddie Brown knew who the president was. He's okay.
Yeah, but he did look hurt coming back to the corner, and I was happy to see the doctor come in to keep his eyes on him. It's most important. His mouth is full of blood. He's bleeding. His arms are down. He's backing up. He kind of fears David Sears, and he should.
A snappy left hook by Sears pushed Brown back. Combination by Sears.
You know, I'm beginning to wonder, though, Steve, if Sears really has that much power in his hands, because he's really got the shots at him.
Well, according to Bert Young, his manager, he's been working with that sledgehammer, and I would think that's got to muster up some power.
Well, he looks sharp, though. Unless Brown can really take a tremendous amount of punishment, which he's showing he can.
And on the topic of Bert Young, I read somewhere he is a nervous wreck when he sits at ringside and watches his man Sears. Sears goes to work again.
Brown does one thing quite well, but if he keep his arms up, he's better off. He goes to the left and right, and he bobs and weaves very well. And he's better if he doesn't want to get hurt.
Well, he's backed into his own corner.
All right, hold it. Brown is guilty of holding.
Brown hitting as he's backpedaling and got in with a left hook to the head of Sears. Now Sears comes rifling back.
I can't see why Brown is not keeping his arms up to defend himself. He's taking a tremendous amount of punishment around the head. And Frank Campuccini better watch this very closely now, and he is.
Sears is looking to put Brown away, but having difficulty.
Give me some punching room.
You hear the words of trainer Lou Duva to David Sears, give yourself some punching room.
And that's right, because we said that earlier. He's got to stay a little more at distance and get some punching room. When he's in close, he doesn't have the power.
About 40 seconds remaining in the fourth round.
I'm really quite surprised it's gone this far in the fourth round, because it looked like David Sears wanted it ended very quickly.
Brown's been in there with some good fighters. He fought Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. It was stopped on a cut in Mustafa Muhammad's favor. And a couple of years ago, he fought James Scott at Rahway State Prison. But Brown was stopped in the fifth. That'll do it for the fourth round. Let's go over to Dick Landis on the sidelines with some further comment. Dick?
Okay, Steve and Arthur, something disturbs me, and what that is, at weigh-in today, there was just too much emphasis by Downtown Brown as far as hoping that Sears would sustain a cut. You may recall that Downtown Brown said that he wanted to fight maybe one more year, maybe get a nice payday and get out. And if Sears sustained a cut, well, Sears would go crazy in the ring. And he banked too much on that. It's a shame. It's unfortunate because he has one tough heavyweight working his corner tonight, Leroy Boone. Leroy should be in there, and this fight should be stopped. Gentlemen?
All right, thank you very much, Dick. Leroy Boone, who fought Jerry Cooney and Big John Ted, he still wants to fight.
Well, I'll tell you, those are the first two good punches and three punches I saw Brown throw. A left uppercut and a right cross, but then he holds on because he's very, very tired.
More action.
He seems to be super anxious. Dave, would it just slow down a little bit, he'd be a more effective fighter here tonight.
Round 5, it's scheduled for 10 light heavyweights. David Sears in the black trunks and Freddie Brown in the white. And it's been all Sears. Left to the midsection by Sears. Brown taking a lot of punishment.
I've decided one thing, Steve. Brown can take it because he's been hit pretty hard tonight. In the midsection, in the head, all over.
He has been rocked, and he has stayed on his feet.
It's really, it's just too bad that, Brown is not in this fight at all. He's being defeated every round, according to my opinion, and he's not in the fight.
Bert Young looking very stable as he watches his fighter, David Sears.
Hook it, baby. Hook it. Too close, baby. Get off. Hands up.
David Sears, an up-and-coming 23-year-old light heavyweight prospect. What do you think he's going to get out of this fight? What will he learn?
I think that the one thing he should learn from this fight, and his trainers better tell him, that he has to settle down and be more of a deliberate kind of a fighter. Muster up his power. You just can't keep throwing punches away, wailing away like a windmill. He's landing all the way, but he doesn't look effective tonight.
Left hook that got in there by Sears.
If he would only do what Lou Dover told him, back off. I mean, cock your right hand and let it go. He's on top of him and he doesn't have any power.
Hands up, hands up.
Combinations by Sears to the head of Brown.
Sears is doing everything, but he's pushing him, and all he has to do is trip him. It seems Dave ought to just settle down. That was great. Good right hand.
Once again, he goes inside.
Now I like what Frank Cappuccino did then. He took him off the ropes and put him in the center of the ring. Because this is where the injuries occur, in the corner and on the ropes. And it's wise to do that.
Pushed back, Brownie.
There's no way that Brown is in this fight. It occasionally comes off with a looping right hand or so, but it's ineffective.
David Sears' last 4 fights haven't gone past the 5th round. He's looking for his 5th straight knockout victory.
I said earlier that the fight probably would not go like more than 2 rounds, and it surprises me that Brown can take this much.
Round 5, history.
Okay, baby, come on. Now you're boxing. Come on. Now you're doing it. Come on. Now you're doing good out there, right? Let me see. Get a little moving like you're doing right now. You get off all your hooks you want, right? Don't stand in front of me. You're starting to give yourself a little more room now, okay? Get room. You get your combinations off. You get too close, you can't do nothing. Okay? Let's do it now. Come on. Let's do it. Oh, anyway, I got it. I get it.
Steve, the doctor is now in Brown's corner, and I'm happy to see him in the corner to look him over again. They should look at him very, very closely, and they are.
Take some deep breaths.
Now the doctor is letting it go on.
Well, the medical team is satisfied, and so was Lou Duva at the other end with Sears. Round number 6. The fight scheduled for 10.
Lou Duva has become a star. The other evening we were at the WBC convention where they honored all the ex-champions, Steve. And Farrah Fawcett was there, and she went up to Lou and she said, "I recognize you from boxing. You're a great trainer and a great actor."
Well, she's only human.
Now Brown looks a little disoriented now. Sears is just pushing too much. He's got to repeat, get his balance back.
A lot of pushing and shoving going on.
That's what he should be doing. Good, crisp jabs. But he's leaning in. He's not pivoting with his right cross.
Sears comes in with a stinging left jab as part of his repertoire, but it doesn't seem to be affecting Freddie Brown.
And Freddie Brown, he did come back with a terrific right uppercut. The best punch he's thrown all night.
But you got to believe, Arthur, that the accumulative effect of these punches by Sears is going to wear Brown down eventually.
I'm surprised it hasn't already done so.
All right, hold it, man. Hold it. Come on, let's stop that.
And a busy fight for Frank Cappuccino.
It's a very, very difficult fight for a referee to even stop, even though Brown is taking a severe beating. He comes back occasionally.
Hold it. Get out. Get out. Get out. Come on.
Midway through the 6th round. It's like target practice for Sears.
Well, I tell you, I have to repeat it again and again. It doesn't seem that Sears is affecting him at all. Maybe Sears' power is not there tonight. I've seen him more effective in previous fights.
Well, this is his 3rd appearance on Super Fights. We saw him knock off Harry Savage in September and pop Nance in January.
Now, look, he's just hitting him at will. I tell you, it's a kind of a fight that really, I kind of think if it were stopped soon that the fans wouldn't mind at all.
Brown is cut, battered, and bruised.
You were right when you said it's target practice. Absolutely the best term you could have used.
And Mr. Sears is throwing bullseyes.
Sears does not seem to have that ultimate power to finish it.
As round 6 closes down.
He surely has the opportunities, hasn't he?
Come on.
We are heading for the bell. Well, we invite you to join us for our next edition of Super Fights of the Month, Thursday, October the 27th. Here's a sneak preview.
On Super Fights in October, it's heavyweight Pinklin Thomas. Currently among the top 5 heavyweights in the world, Pinklin Thomas is unbeaten with a string of knockouts to his credit. Big, powerful, the possessor of a great left jab, becomes the Super Fights in October. Also on October's card, it's the former light heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Rossman. Since retiring a few years ago, Rossman is back in the boxing spotlight with 3 straight KO wins. It's all here in October on Super Fights of the Month. Don't miss it.
So, a former champion in Mike Rossman and a possible future champion in Pinklin Thomas on our next session of Super Fights, Thursday, October 27th. Round 7 scheduled for 10, and Sears comes charging in on Freddie Brown.
He hasn't changed his style at all. He's done that right from round 1, and here it is round 7. He's charging out the same style.
David Sears, very busy, very active.
I tell you, Brown is really taking an awful lot in this fight. It's always very sad to see this.
I think we're both quite impressed that it's gone this far into the 7th round. Steve Albert, Arthur McCanny, Dick Landis, and our Super Fights crew here at the Sands Hotel in Atlantic City. Frank Cappuccino getting a little testy in there now. That tagged Brown.
Well, I'm glad to see Frank looking at it carefully. He keeps looking at Brown, and he really should be doing what he's doing.
Brown just walked into a left by Sears, but it really didn't have that much impact. Sears unloading.
He's just hitting him at random, and nothing's happening. Brown is like a piece of rubber.
He really is. He's very resilient.
And as I said before, it's very difficult to stop a fight like this because he does come back in spurts.
Both guys getting a bit on the tired side now.
Dave, let him go, Dave. Dave seems to be getting hit a little too much from the experience of Brown. Dave looked far more experienced in the ring, but the only thing, he's wild. If he could just reduce his wildness in the ring, he'd be a more effective fighter.
Brown's had 48 pro fights. He's won only 22, had only 6 knockouts. Sears 12-0 with 9 KOs.
He comes right back. That was a tremendous jab on the part of Brown. Connected.
A thumping left by Brown.
Come on, get out, get out.
Little blood continues to trick from the mouth from Brown.
It seems to me that David Sears is headhunting.
All right, both just stop punching and step back.
Round 7 is history. Well, we're surrounded by referees. We've got Arthur McCanny here at ringside. We've got Frank Cappuccino, who is busy at work within the ropes. Let's take an isolated look at Cappuccino.
Well, now I tell you now, Frank Cappuccino is looking right at Brown because he has a feeling that he would like to stop the fight, as I can detect, but he doesn't have the opportunity because Brown comes back in spurts and spots, but he is concerned about it, and he should be.
You guys wear out a lot of souls. And now we'll isolate on the two principals in the ring.
That was a tremendous left jab on the part of Brown. One of the best left jabs he's thrown. If he could have done that early, he'd be okay. David Sears looks fresh coming out.
And round 8 scheduled for 10.
I'm very, very surprised, Steve, that it went 8 rounds.
So am I. I think so is Sears.
Yes.
Wonder what's going on in the mind of Burt Young right now.
I kind of believe Burt feels like you and I, that he's quite surprised that he can't end this fight sooner. He has the advantage. He's been, banging away all night, but there's no effect. It indicates one thing, that Brown can take an awful lot of punishment and retaliate.
More blood from the mouth of Brown. Maybe Sears senses the end here. But Brown hangs on.
Brown appears to be like constantly hurt, but comes back. It's very difficult to explain. He's taken an awful lot of head punishment.
Sears just dodging into Brown in that sequence. Kind of a running leap. Combination by Sears.
What gets me is why Brown continues to come in. He'll be coming in now. You watch him. He comes right in. He never backs up. And he's getting banged all over the ring.
He has got a strong base.
He's going to feel it tomorrow, I'll tell you that. He's got a nice jab. His mouth is all full of blood.
Able to bob and weave that little flurry by Sears.
Still can't understand why Sears doesn't have more power tonight. Maybe he left it all in Beverly Hills in the gym, in Burt Young's gym, right?
Well, we have talked about Freddie Brown, who just took a merry-go-round ride, and his experience in the ring, despite the fact he's under the 500 mark. But he's been in there with some pretty stiff competition we mentioned before. Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, James Scott, people that Sears has not seen, but he is resilient. He's able to bounce back.
Sears is beginning to wonder how much this guy can take.
Oh, he's got to be wondering.
He seems to be squaring away a little more deliberately now.
So we've gone 8 complete, and a good look at Freddie Brown. That is not the doctor, that is the marshal.
Well, he's the inspector. They call him an inspector here in New Jersey.
Yep.
And there's an inspector assigned to each corner of the fights in all arenas throughout the country. And they're there to see that there is no shenanigans going on, drugs, etc., stimulants.
Leroy Boone and William Barnes are in the corner. Now we swing over to
You gotta have punches.
Sears' corner. Lou Duva talking.
Lou Duva said exactly what we've been saying all night. You need punch power.
Okay. Got the hand out. Come on, let's use it. Come on. Let's use it right off there. Go.
Round 9, scheduled for 10.
Whoever thought this would go 9 rounds, Steve? We didn't. But here we are in the 9th round, and Dave Sears is still stalking away at Brown.
Sears, who has an edge in the fight by far, but cannot polish Mr. Brown off. Brown is 27, Sears 23.
Brown occasionally gets a good shot, and it was a good shot right to the solar plexus. Brown threw it right into the solar plexus of Dave Sears.
Sears' 5th fight in '83, had 8 back in '82. Again, Sears opens up right above us now.
Sears is becoming very frustrated now. He just can't seem to put it together to get this man out of the picture.
Pretty good right by Sears that landed to Brown's head, and more blood trickles down Brown's lip. And it's all over Sears, shoulder and back.
I still contend that David Sears, because of his very, very major deviated septum broken nose, is not responding properly. He just can't breathe right. It certainly affects a fighter when you're not 100% physically well.
And he's got to be totally frustrated that he can't put Brown away. He fought an undefeated fighter his last bout, May 1st, Bob Jennings, and scored a 5th round knockout. That was a nationally televised fight. That was Sears' first 10-rounder. And he's confused here, I guess.
Well, you see, you'll know from experience that when fighters muster up their strength to throw a punch, they exhale through the nose. They breathe through the nose, and he can't do that. He's losing his power because he's breathing through his mouth.
Well, he's on the chase right here. Almost a low blow by Sears.
Well, Sears has thrown several low blows this evening. But Brown has also been, he doesn't mean it, hacking and rapid punching behind the head.
Under 30 seconds, round 9.
No reason why Sears can't stay on the outside and just peck away with jabs and right. He's just so awfully anxious in there, throwing everything like a windmill, and that's wrong. And he stops the fight.
It's all over. It's all over. Freddie Brown does not like the call by Frank Cappuccino. Boy, a glob of blood from the mouth as the mouthpiece came out. Frank Cappuccino said, that's enough.
And I agree with him 100%. And I would have agreed with him if he had done it earlier. Because there was no point to it.
So in round 9 it ends, and Sears victorious again.
Now Sears came on the attack like he did all night long, but this time it was effective. He had him in the rope, and instead of just backing off and taking a square shot at him, he stayed on top of him. Lou Duba said, do not stay on top of him. Stay on the outside, you'll have more punch power. He didn't listen to his corner tonight. He could have perhaps ended this fight sooner, Steve.
Well, in any event, Sears accumulating the punches throughout the fight, and he is triumphant for the 13th time in 13 pro fights.
And it was a very good call, and I'm glad that he stopped it at that point.
But Freddie Brown was a game competitor. He hung in there, took a lot of punches from this man, David Sears.
David Sears seems to be super anxious tonight. He wanted it ended very quickly, but frustrated he couldn't do it.
Could be that extra spark generated by television.
But I'll tell you, he's a good prospect. He's going to be a very, very prominent light heavyweight.
Well, he just picked up his 10th knockout, a TKO over Freddie Brown. We're going to get the official word momentarily from Ed Darien, situated in the center of the ring. Let's go to Ed Darien right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Frank Cappuccino stops this bout at 2 minutes and 51 seconds of the 9th round, and a winner by a TKO for his 13th consecutive victory in as many professional bouts, David Sears.
So David Sears, who began boxing at the age of 15 in the Junior Olympics, now raises his professional record to 13-0, 10 knockouts. Freddie Brown gets a nice round of applause. He's now 22-26-1. We've got David Sears going over to our interview area as we take a look at what's coming up here on Super Fights tonight. Johnny Bumpus and Jose Angulo in a battle of junior welterweights. That'll be followed by a tape fight from Las Vegas. Vinny Pazienza versus Ricardo Moreno. and boxing headlines. Dick Landis standing by with David Sears. Dick?
Okay, Stephen Arthur, thanks very much. Here's the man of the hour, 13-0 now, 10 knockouts. And my apologies, gentlemen, but I think the fight should have been stopped like 5 rounds ago. But let's talk about the man in the ring tonight. You got to work out. You threw everything but the kitchen sink, everything but the chairs at ringside. Must have been a little frustrating at times.
You know what? His record, I don't know how good it was, but I know he had a lot of fights. So when I came out like an amateur, which I'm definitely going to change my style. I tried to knock him out 1, 2, 3, and when I couldn't, I got a little frustrated. And I started losing energy just from being frustrated. I just got to go back to the gym and be a little more patient.
Yeah, but that's part of your maturity. Right. That's part of that maturity you talked to me about earlier today, the fact that you are being more relaxed in the ring.
I overcame the anxiousness, you know.
You look beautiful. No, well, you know it enough. It's experience.
Yeah. But I tell you, I come back stronger. You are.
Well, you did. Now, undefeated. You got a good workout tonight. Maybe need a little more power, possibly?
Yes. I thought me and Bert were working on it, but not enough. We got to work a little harder.
Let's look at the replays. Gentlemen, let's look down here at the screen. A little play-by-play.
But he kept covering up, and I was just punching his arms, and I was getting frustrated. You know? Once in a while, I got in, and I was just waiting. I should have, not like Lou was telling me, stay away from him, but I kept falling in the same trap every round. I'm a little disappointed in myself. I'll be better next time.
Hey, you're okay. Bert?
Boy, this youngster doesn't know how beautiful he looked tonight. David, a real pro. You look beautiful. This guy wasn't going out. He made up his mind he wasn't going out. You were beautiful, buddy. And please don't apologize to the audience. They should thank you and give you a little applause.
Well, it was a good experience for him tonight. He fought a guy that's been in with all the top fighters, you know, over the hill, but been in with it. That's what we're looking for, some experience. Dave is honest about it. He got too close to him. He wants to fight all the time. You know, he's a typical Irishman. He wants to get out there and knock you dead. Understand? He's got a box. When he gave himself punching room, he looked like a champ out there, but he made too many mistakes out there where he's getting close to him. But it was a good fight. It's good learning experience. And like he said, he's get back to the gym. This is what we need to bring him up to contendership. That kind of experience.
Okay, gentlemen, thanks very much. David Sears, you are a very fine prospect, and keep punching away, kid. Thanks, Bert. Thanks, Lou. And let's get back to Stephen Arthur, gentlemen.
All right, thank you, Dick. And we want to remind everybody to be with us on our next edition of Super Fights of the Month. Thursday, October the 27th, from the Sands in Atlantic City, featuring unbeaten heavyweight Pinkland Thomas, who may be a virtual unknown right now, but keep an eye on his name. He's defeated guys like Harry Coetzee and James Quick Tillis. In addition, you'll see former light heavyweight champion Mike Rossman looking to continue his comeback climb. That's all next on Super Fights. The #1 rated junior welterweight in the world, Johnny Bump City Bumpus, is around the corner against Jose Angulo. Hope you can stick around for that one. It's coming up in just a couple of minutes. And to preview that fight, let's send it right back to Mr. Landis. Dick?